All right, now we're recording. So if you don't get a chance to write everything that we put in the chat, don't worry, because I'm going to send notes out too. So yeah, I also wanted to highlight, and I'm going to put this in the chat. Some of you know that ALSC came out with a document recently, a summer and out of school time toolkit. Are you all familiar with that? Denise Lyons, who used to work here, worked on that with a committee, and they had different case studies. Julie from Sumter, their library was highlighted in that. Let's see. There's the link to that document, and a couple things I just wanted to highlight from that. It's divided into different sections, and it's kind of long, but I would encourage you to read it when you have time. Each section has 5 things to know, 5 highlights, a case study connected to it. The section that Denise and Julie worked on was the evaluating, right? Evaluating success. Other sections were equity, co-designing effective programs with your community, partnerships, online and digital programming, because we know that's, virtual programming is not going to go away. Positive youth development. And one thing I wanted to just kind of highlight this quote from the equity section that I liked, which is, again, another reason why we're doing this. This comes from Project Ready, the quote: For everyone to have a true opportunity to succeed, we need to acknowledge that we are all starting from different points on the track. From there, we need to recognize that those different starting points are not solely individual, but are related to categories of privilege and marginalization based on race, gender, sexual orientation, ability, and other aspects of identity. So the main point being, we're all coming to this starting from different starting places. Have any of you had a chance to look at that document yet? I'm just curious. Let's see, yes or no, maybe. All right, we're going to move on to talking a little bit about CSLP. I'm going to put another poll up here, if I can find it. So I'm curious what age group, and I know some of you work with everyone at smaller libraries, but what age group do you work with most often? And kids means, babies, toddlers too. So a couple more seconds to finish the poll. All right, and most people here are working with younger kids, it looks like. 10% working with adults, that's great. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my screen share and let's see. All right, we're going to look at the CSLP website for a minute. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. All right, is everyone seeing that?
Yes.
Thank you. So I think most of you are participating in libraries that are using the CSLP theme, Oceans of Possibilities, this summer, but I wanted just to briefly talk a little bit about what it is, because I remember when I was working in Greenville, we started out using the theme, and then Greenville does their own theme now. But I remember when we did use it, I really didn't know anything about it, what it was, who worked there. So just kind of want to go over a little bit about that. CSLP is mostly made up of volunteers like you all. So library staff from across the country. We are all choosing the artist and all of the programming ideas that go in the manual. There are, I think, just 3 full-time staff members who work for CSLP. They're all former librarians. And then there are member states. So, and most states are members. So South Carolina is a member. I'm the state rep for South Carolina. So we pay to get I think we pay a fee and to get the manuals, and of course, you know, all the supplies that they come out with. Some of you might have attended the CSLP Summer Symposium last December. You can find some reporting, some good programming ideas and marketing ideas, lots of good information there. The rules of use part you might want to check out. I know one library was working with a partner who wanted to use the Oceans of Possibilities theme, and we are not allowed to share the manual or share that information with partners. So make sure to check that out, and it explains it all very clearly there. And then it explains what you can do with the artwork, and it's pretty flexible as far as there's a lot of ways you can customize it to make it work for your library. There's information on free food programs in libraries. I know some of you participated in that last year. I'm on the inclusion committee this year, and so there's not a lot there under resources, but we're working on a guide for that. You can find old themes, and they are downloading. I think it's up now. They have, or they're going to put somewhere past programming ideas. And then this talks about all the different committees there are. The committees, if you would like to join, I think it starts in August is when they start looking for people. So you can see all the different ones there. There's a board meeting that anybody can attend virtually if you're just interested in learning more about it. This is how you get to the manual in the shop. So I want to look at one of these tutorials. So this third one is about, again, volunteering. The second one is how to make a big poster. I was going to make one and I just ran out of time, but how to make a big poster out of using the artwork. And then this one, we're just going to look at really quick to see how we can use the manual. Can everyone hear that? All right, let's see. All right, we won't do that. You can't hear. Thank you for telling me. So I'll just show you. So this is, I felt like he could explain it. That was Luke. He's one of the full-time employees at CSLP. I thought he might be able to explain it better than I could. But this is the manual. So there's a social media toolkit. There's lots of different artwork you can download, and fonts and logos and all of that there. And then if you go to the left, you can, oh, this is what I was talking about with previous programs. And then here you can search by age group, you can search by theme, you can search by type of program. So we can go here. I'm just going to go to teens and tweens. And then there are lots of ideas. So I would definitely encourage you to check that out if you haven't looked at that yet. Let's see what else I wanted to tell you about this. I do want to share, let me go ahead and end this. There's a couple of Facebook links too for CSLP you might be interested in. So I'm going to put that in the chat. So there's their main, this is their main page. And then they have a programming Facebook group as well. And there's going to be some additional ideas that are not in the manual there. Any questions about any of that? I'm also going to put, this is the, if you haven't gotten it yet, this is the code to the manual for our state. Any CSLP questions before we move on? Yeah, Kathleen, that's a good question. Yeah, those are just Facebook groups. I don't think there's another way to access those groups, Sheila, but all of the main stuff is in the manual that you can see. Kathleen, I don't think so. I think it's just for public libraries. And I should know the answer to this. Let me, you could message me later and I'll get in touch with you later. We can talk about it. Okay, so let's do a little update on the CSLP order. Thank you all for turning those orders in. I have finally, as of yesterday, gotten everyone's order, so that's great. And I talked to Luke yesterday at CSLP, and I was thinking, because we were told originally it would take 3 months to come in, it's only going to take 2 months, so that's really good because I thought we were going to be behind. So he should have that information entered. I send the spreadsheet to him, he enters everything, so he'll do that next week. And then you should be getting it that first or second week in April. So if you take stuff out to schools, you'll still have time to do that. Let me know if, because I'm putting the contacts that I have from last year that were already on my spreadsheet that Rebecca left, is what I'm sending him. The email addresses, you'll get an email when the information, when the materials have shipped. So if that contact information has changed, or if you're the library where you want it to be shipped to has changed, please let me know. Yes, thank you, Valerie. I think you can, if you're a partner, you can use the artwork and everything. Yeah, thanks for saying that. So then the medals, I think, so some of you were on the email list that I sent about the medals, summer reading medals. Everybody kept asking me, have you talked to Rusty, the medal guy? And I'm like, who's Rusty, the medal guy? So I finally figured out who Rusty is. So thank you for those of you that filled me in on that. And some of you have already sent in your orders for that. So I heard that from Rusty this morning, and he said, let me find this email. He'd like to get the final counts in next week. So if you want to order summer reading medals and you have not sent me that order yet, and if you're not the person to do that, please let your supervisor know if they're not on this call. Those are due next Thursday, February 3rd. The quantity that you would like to order is due to me next Thursday. And then I don't know if Diane is here from Anderson. She suggested maybe having a discussion on the metals. I don't see her. Diane, are you here? I'm not sure if anyone had a question about it, but yeah, if we just want to talk about, yeah, who is using the metals? Is there someone on the call that's new, that's not really sure what the situation is? What questions do you have? I know a lot of people that use them every year talk about how much the kids love them and they collect them. And, you know, it says South Carolina on it. It doesn't have a year, so you can reuse them if you have leftovers. There's a different color every year. So this year, and they try to match it to the CSLP theme. We chose light blue for this year. Yeah, and they have gotten more expensive, as you know, pretty much everything right now has gotten more expensive. Yeah, and then Casey posted the link if you want to look at the brag tags. That was something I hadn't seen before, but CSLP partners with a couple other companies to make some products that I think aren't listed in that catalog that you saw. So brag tags is one of them. Another thing that they do, and I'll have to send the link later, but they also do, if you guys are familiar with that sticker art, where it kind of looks like a paint by number thing, but you have little stickers and you can do it as a big group project, put it on the window. So they have those, and they have 2 different pictures for this year's summer reading theme that you can purchase. You're welcome. If anyone has a question or just wants to talk about it, you can unmute as well if that's easier. Looks like a lot of people still use them. Also, some of you might know that Richland usually has, or when they have leftover metals, they'll bring some to the summer reading wrap up, or when it was in person, they would bring them to that and then give out leftovers. So you can get some free ones that way. If they have, that's assuming they have leftovers. All right. Is Wendy in here yet? Okay, Wendy Copeland. She's not here. So Wendy, in just a minute, is going to talk about the summer reading grant. I know I got some panicky emails from some of you thinking that maybe you had missed the deadline for that. You didn't. We just did not have our information together yet. I think I told some of you we don't have a grants administrator position right now, so Wendy is doing that plus her new finance director position. So let's see, while we're waiting for her to come on, make sure I'm not missing. Let's, I think we're gonna skip ahead and I'm gonna have Valerie, since she is here. Valerie, do you want to go ahead and share a little bit about Cocky's Reading Express now?
Sure. I was actually gonna start typing in chat, like I can go if you need.
Thank you.
So hi everyone, I'm Valerie Birdford. I'm not gonna take a lot of time. I don't have a presentation or anything because you might be pretty familiar with me and the program, but I'm gonna tell you about a couple of things actually right now. So I am Valerie and I am an instructor at the University of South Carolina. Carolina for the iSchool. I teach children's materials and programming and children's literature for undergrads. And I'm also the coordinator for Cocky's Reading Express. I want to tell you about Cocky's Reading Express, but then I'm also going to tell you a little bit about the South Carolina Center for Community Literacy, if I can, Lee, and just make sure you all are aware of some of the things that we offer at Skill also. So Cocky's Reading Express first, we travel the state pre-pandemic, and let me get my email off so it won't ding every 5 minutes as it does. We travel the state. We primarily visit K-2 Title I, like Title I schools, kindergarten through 2nd grade. That's our primary audience. And we take USC students with us. We have a bus. We take Cocky with us, and we do a program. We read books aloud. Cocky comes out as a surprise. And after we read to kids, we give books away. And so that is what we do. And we also do library programs or just appearances. So if you are interested in having Cocky come to your library this summer, we can definitely work that out as long as it works out with our schedule. We now have a bus that we cannot wait to show off. We've had a bus for many years, but it just got a glow up. It got a makeover. So we are excited to show it off. So Cocky's Reading Express, we visit public libraries also. That's basically what I want to share with you. And sometimes I may even reach out to you. We do a number of grants that we get grants, and then that's where the funding for our visits come from. So we are completely funded by grants and gifts, and a lot of our the grants that we go for, we put in, that we'll visit a school in a certain community and then the public library also. So sometimes that's why I put in chat, and I don't know if maybe anyone has come since I put that. If anyone in here is from Hampton, Allendale, I need to speak with you. I've got money to visit you. So that is what we do. That's Cocky's Reading Express, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, and I'll put my email address in the chat when I'm done, so that you can go to that website, or you can email me to set up a visit. About what type of mascot is Cocky? So at the University of South Carolina, Cocky, is our university mascot. He's a 6-foot tall chicken, basically. And he's very kind, and I'm sorry he's not orange, but when they get a bus and a group of students to travel around the state, then you can have the tiger also. But right now, you can have a big old chicken visit you if you're interested. Do let me say this, that Cocky is a student, of course. So our schedule depends, our ability to come see you does depend on kind of the student schedule too. But we try as hard as we can to visit whomever requests us, and we're happy to do virtual visits too. We've done like the Little Garnet Gamecock was a virtual program, but we've done a lot of virtual visits. And in terms of public libraries, we just recorded some multilingual story times with Richland Library, which will be coming out soon, which was with Cocky's Reading Express, and then another organization on campus that I work with, Bilingualism Matters. So, we're whatever idea you might have, feel free to reach out, and if we can make it work, we'll try to make it work. But I also want to tell you a little bit about the South Carolina Center for Community Literacy. Some of you who have been around for a while might know us as the BEST Center or the South Carolina Center for Children's Books and Literacy. Right now, we've had a name change in the past few years. We are the South Carolina Center for Community Literacy, and we are a place for you all, for pre-service teachers, for public librarians, school librarians. We are on campus, so of course it's in Columbia, but if you are ever in the area, please come see us. We get books from publishers before they are released, so our collection is relatively new, so you are able to see books, before you spend money on them, or if that is something that you get to decide to do. So we are a children's library, essentially. And apologies about my dogs if you hear them. But one really important thing that I want to point out that we're doing, that we just started, and it's primarily, or not primarily, but our thinking is more school librarians with this, but I think public librarians can use this information as well. But we have now an intellectual freedom kind of a part of our website, and I'll put a link to that in the chat. And it's got resources, it's got a form where you can, say you need help with a challenge or a complaint or something, and we can try to help you with that. So I just wanted to kind of put a plug for that. But like I said, I'll put my email address in chat, and I'll put the link to the South Carolina Center for Community Literacy website. And then I'm happy to answer any questions anytime.
Thank you so much, Valerie. I think, did you see the question? I don't know if you answered this, about how far is the bus able to go?
Well, how far you'll go. First, I just want to break out into a Disney song, but we go all over the state, all over the state. We've been to every single county.
Oh, awesome. I had that question too. Yeah, because I think originally I was thinking it was just around the Columbia area. So that's good to know. Any other questions for Valerie? Show of hands, who has had Cocky's Reading Express come out before? Just curious. A couple of you.
We have been around since 2005, and I have been here for, I think this is going to be my 5th summer. It's hard to remember. And then too, let me say that, it's also, you don't have to do the whole program. It can be an appearance. So I know, in the upstate, that can be hard, just for you all, your patrons might be like, why is that? But we're always happy to see what we can do, see what we can help out with in the community.
Great, thank you. All right, we are going to go into our first breakout room. So this one is going to be about partnerships, outreach, performer ideas, things you want to share, questions you have from others. We'll do another breakout room later talking about more specific programs. I mean, I know that it's kind of the same thing, but yeah, I just want to try to keep the topic on those 3 things: performers, I've already forgotten, performers, partnerships, and outreach. And oh wait, Wendy's here. You know what? We're going to hold off on that, and we're going to let Wendy talk about grants first. Let's see. So be thinking of ideas that you want to share for that when we go into our, I think it's going to be 6 to 7 people in a breakout room. And thank you for posting that link. Wendy, are you ready to talk about the summer reading grants?
I'm ready if you guys have time for me.
Yes.
All right.
You.
So just wanted to say hey, and sorry I was a little bit late popping in. Hopefully it works with your all's schedule. And I know that there's probably a few new people on, and then there's a lot of other people that you guys have seen me before. So I just want to say hey. I'm currently still doing the LSTA grant stuff, and I'm also working with in the finance department, the director of finance and grants. So we're going through a little bit of transition. Hopefully by the time your summer reading project is over, you will have another grants administrator, but right now I still get to do that and I'm really excited. And so I just wanted to let you know that we are in transition, but as of right now, we will be dropping the summer reading grant application within the next week or 2. And we were scheduling a meeting. Oh gosh, did you already tell them when the meeting was going to be? I think it's next Friday. I think it's the 11th. Is that the date?
It is February the 11th at 2 o'clock.
Okay, so we're going to have a grant meeting then where we kind of go over the application. The applications are going to be due March 15th. And then it will have very similar stuff as last year for the people who've done them in the past. And it will have very similar reporting timeframes. And I know some of those give you guys a little bit of heartburn, but to get the grant closed on time and to get all the numbers accounted in the accountability reports and the annual reports, the reimbursements will probably be due August 15th, like usual, and then with all the other end of project reports being due at the end of August. And if some of you have nightmares with that, work with Lee and I, and we can help you see if there's any adjustments that we have. But we're trying to get as many of the numbers in so that we can reflect everything in the state reports that we have to do and the federal reports. Those are the big numbers and deadlines. Does anyone have just a basic question? But like I said, we'll go over everything in like 2 weeks.
Yes, we can record that meeting.
Is it still $1,000, Wendy?
Oh, yes, that's a great question. It is still $1,000. And for those of you who have been here for a couple of different years, you know that some years we had a little bit more requirements. We've tried to make it as simple as possible, very similar to last year, just the $1,000 where you can do you know, the materials, supplies, programming, or some of the educational performances and those kind of things too. Any other just simple questions? But it is the $1,000. That was a really good one. I'm sorry. I just was like, it's going to be the same. Do we have any questions in chat? Anything else?
I don't think there was anything else in the chat.
All right, so yes, be ready, be looking for the application. It will go out as it normally does to all the directors, and then it will also go out to the other youth services listservs, and it will be posted on the LibGuide like usual. And if you have questions, just let us know. We're here to help. And I'm not going to stick around because I think you guys have other fun stuff that you have to do, and I need to go pay some bills. So I'll see you guys later.
Thank you so much for joining, for answering all those questions and telling us about the grants.
All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.
And then I'll post that meeting probably later this afternoon on the calendar. Okay, so breakout rooms. Do we need a break before we break out into breakout rooms? What do y'all think? Do we need a 5-minute or a 10-minute break? Is 5 minutes okay for bathroom? Okay, so let's do a 5-minute break and we'll be back here at 10:25. I just realized I can't vote on these. I want to vote too. Horseshoe crab. Yeah, it's not listed, but thank you, Allison. All right, couple more seconds to vote in the poll. Penguin is not listed too, but I thought about penguin and then I took it off for some reason. And it looks like the octopus is the winner. That's what I would vote for. Although mermaid would be a close second. All right, and thank you for continuing to share in the chat too what you're planning to do versus with in-person versus virtual. All right, so we're going to go to our first breakout room. It'll be maybe 6 or 7 people in your room. So again, this breakout room is specifically to discuss partnership, outreach, and I keep forgetting the third. Where am I? Who remembers? Presenter.
Performers, yeah, performers, partners, and outreach.
Yes. All right. Any questions before we break out into rooms? Oh, and another thing, I was going to use Jamboard, but I wasn't sure who has used it before, if you like it or not. Could you put in the chat just for future reference? Yes or no? Do you like using Jamboard? Yes or no in the chat? And yeah, it's still, a lot of you probably still haven't used it yet. And basically it's kind of like whiteboard with Zoom. So you open up a separate link and you can put little digital like post-it notes, and so everybody can work on it at the same time and you can see everybody's brainstorming ideas. So it's good for this type of thing. So we might try it in the future. Okay, so for now, we're just going to do the old school way, and I'm going to ask for one person in each group to take notes, please. And then when we come back together, if we want to put our favorite ideas in the chat or unmute and talk about them. And then the note taker, if you could send that, email me your notes, because I'm going to send out the recording link and I want to send out everybody's ideas too, since we can't record and I can't be in all the chat rooms. And I'll probably pop in a couple too. All right, any questions before we start this? All right, and we will probably be here for 10 minutes.
To your library. So with a deep ocean theme, our activity is going to be all about ocean discovery. So we're going to be turning someone into a remotely operated vehicle and talking about the different tools that these vehicles have that allow them to explore the deep ocean, and the way that they're going to kind of gain these tools as they move through their time is by being introduced to some deep sea animals with really cool adaptations. So they'll meet an animal, not a real animal, because I can't bring a whole bunch of big deep sea animals to you. I wish I could, but I can't. So they'll meet a model of an animal, and then they'll gain that part to their ROV as they're going through. We're really excited for it. It seems like it's going to be a really fun activity for them. And then the animals that they are going to get to meet are going to be marine invertebrates. So the last animal they'll meet in the program are going to be deep sea tube worms. We have a nice little model replica of them. And then we're going to introduce them to some invertebrates that we see in South Carolina. We'll talk about them, all about their really cool adaptations, how they relate to deep sea animals, and then they'll get the chance to touch their animals. I'm not sure exactly what the animals are going to be yet. We're still working with our animal care team to figure out the best friends to come visit, but they are very easily transportable. And all we really need in terms of space is a room for is a space for everyone to sit, and then a table. We need like a 6-foot table, and that's all we need. Everything else we come with. So not too much on your guys' side to have us there. These programs, they are $175 for the first program and $125 for any additional programs on the same day. So if you have multiple libraries in your library system, we can go to 2 of them on the same day. And then the price for each library would be $150 because we would split it evenly between the 2. And then we do have a mileage fee just to get us safely out there and doing these programs. So if you are, the first 30 miles is going to be $15, and then it's 85 cents a mile for every mile after that round trip. I am happy to share any information and all information with you. And I'll drop my email in the chat in a second so that you have that. But that is our in-person option. We're also going to be doing a virtual option that mirrors that summer reading theme. And what we're going to be doing in person, those programs are 30 minutes long. And they will be showing different parts of the aquarium. So they'll be out in the aquarium meeting these animals that have those adaptations similar to deep sea animals. And the prices were still finessing, but I can tell you last year's prices. So last year for those 30 minutes virtual programs, they were $150. If you want us to do it on Facebook Live or you want to record it, that price does go up to probably $250. And that's just because you'll have access to that for a longer period of time. Beth, I saw your question. In terms of doing programs outside, yes, we can do our outreach programs outside. We are happy to do that if that's what works best with your group. We did that with the Charleston County Libraries this last year, and it worked really well. So we're really happy to do them outside. If we're doing them outside, if we can have some sort of shade-like structure, that would be really wonderful. But we do have a microphone that we have. Yeah. Oh, lots of great questions. Yep. You're good, Beth. We'll be ready to go outside if you need us. In terms of audience, this program is aimed for, going to be kind of designed for a slightly younger audience, but we are going to be doing a program for some of the Spartanburg libraries that is aimed at that teen audience. So we are going to have a separate older program for that teen audience if you're really interested in us coming out to do teen stuff. That's a good question. Thanks, Molly. If you're interested in more of our education outreach stuff, I did just drop the link to our website in the chat. From there, you can find our inquiry form, and that's sort of going to be how we recommend you reach out to us, is through that inquiry form. It just gives us all the information that we need to contact you the best way and give you everything that we can. And the other thing I wanted to mention about virtual is we are very happy to do virtual, not just focused on summer reading. So if you want us to come and do a virtual program that's focused on sea turtles or sharks or a certain animal, we can definitely do those programs as well. It doesn't just have to be that summer reading theme. So there are other options for you too. And I'll drop the link for those virtual programs in here as well. Do you have other questions for me about price or booking or other offerings the aquarium has? We're happy to come out any time of the year. It doesn't just have to be for summer reading. We love coming out. I know we went out to the Colleton County libraries in November and did a really fun reptile and amphibian program for them. So we're happy to come out anytime. Yes, the in-person event is 1 hour. 1 hour in-person event. And then virtual would be 30 minutes. Just because an hour virtually is a long time to keep focus, even with cool animals. Yeah, good questions. Anything? If you don't have other questions, I'll drop my email in the chat for you too. So you can contact me if you want to. I am happy to talk with you. We're getting our school programs up and running this week. So, well, next week technically. So give me a little bit of grace with responding, but I'm happy to respond. I will let you know that our June is pretty much fully booked already this summer. So we're looking to July in the first part of August. Anyone available for our Spanish speaking community? That's a really good question. Our team has made some pretty drastic changes during COVID. So I do not know at this point if we would be able to send someone from that side, but that's something that I'm happy to look into for you, Darlene. That's a really good question. Thank you.
All right. Any more questions? Looks like that's it. Thank you so much, Courtney, for telling us all about that.
You're welcome.
We're
We're really excited. We're really excited for the theme this year.
Here's another question too.
They're not using Facebook Live. So we have a couple of options. We have Zoom webinar. So we can have up to 1,000 people join a Zoom, and then all of their cameras are off and they aren't able to see, but they'll be able to interact with us through the chat. So we do have that ability to do larger groups through Zoom. So you would just, when we're in contact and talking through booking, we would be able to try to figure out what would be the best platform for your group. That's a good question.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys. If you ever come to the aquarium, come say hi to me. I would love to see people.
Thanks,
but I hope you have a good rest of your day.
And I'm thinking those of you that have booked her, I'm gonna invite myself to come and see the program at one of your libraries probably. So expect a visit from me if that's okay. Oh, thank you, Catherine. All right, well, we are going to go ahead and share our ideas from that first breakout session. So let's see, note takers, if you want to share some highlights in the chat, or feel free to go ahead and unmute and talk about what you heard that was really fantastic.
I can go for our group. So our group was a lot of people that were kind of new at the performers area. So we kind of threw around some ideas that we had. A lot of it was looking at local talent and local artists. Colleton County invites a painter to come, and they provide the supplies and everything. And then the painter teaches the kids like different techniques, how to do something, a specific item to paint. And they said that that's been really popular. They've done it virtually and in person. And so that's been popular both ways, which is a big thing. And then everybody that we kind of had talked to in our group had all mentioned the South Carolina Aquarium. So that was fun. We also had talked about when we reach out to people, making sure that they can do both indoor and outdoor performances. And then for outreach, kind of reaching out to your schools, your daycares, and your summer camps.
Great, thank you. Who else would like to share something? I know a lot of you have probably already booked your performers, but if anyone is still looking, any other names of people that you want to throw in the chat there? Performers or partners?
So we were in group 3 and we did a lot of talking about partnerships. One of the people talked about, she had a partnership with farm, sheriff, EMS. The sheriff's office brought out the bloodhounds that they use. The horse farm brought out horses. So we were kind of talking about how you can find local businesses to do things with. We talked about at my personal library in Bluffton, we partnered with the local PALS, which is a animal rescue. And one of the activities that they had suggested in the manual last year was dog and cat toys. And so we got free tennis balls from Sun City and free t-shirts from PAL's thrift store. And people made dog and cat toys, and they made one to keep for their animal, for their pal, and one to bring in. And it was so popular. So we did a lot of talking about what kinds of things we could use in our area. We talked about maybe the Coast Guard, the Marines, or the Navy. And of course, we did mention the aquarium. We have a local sea turtle rescue. There's an underwater park, but it was kind of sharing that you can pull people from those different places and talking about outreach. She mentioned that one of the places that she reached out to was 4-H, and that brought in kids who usually weren't coming into her programs. So.
Great, thank you. That's a lot of great ideas. I love the horse farm.
Yeah.
And sea turtle rescue too. What else? Or are there any questions that you would like to ask of others?
Group 4, sorry to jump in. Group 4 says they don't have a microphone, so I will be Kayla's microphone. The group 4 talked about some activity ideas, including using virtual and augmented reality devices to study the beach or animals, kinetic sand creation and play, and doing crafts that would create an aquarium, such as making fish out of paper mache or tissue paper. They also talked about exploring jobs like working at SeaWorld. So they're encouraging exploring jobs as an extension of reading.
Great, thank you. Okay, so we are going to we're going to head into one more breakout room. We've got 30 minutes left. So for the next breakout room, and I know some of you have already talked about specific programs, but we're going to talk about other program craft ideas. Remember, this is for all ages because we have people that do adult programming here as well. And then again, because we do have some new folks, and I know some of you are still trying to figure out how they want to organize their summer reading or learning program. So that would be a really great topic too, and a great time for those of you who are curious about that to ask questions about how everyone else is doing their program. So I'm just going to open up these same rooms. Any questions before we go into the next breakout room? Actually, do you guys want to, would you like to go in the same one, or should we mix it up and go into different rooms and get new ideas? I'm just thinking, okay, I'm gonna recreate the rooms. Let's see what happens. I hit recreate, but now I'm like, oh, I'm not sure if that actually, I think this is different. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and open this. And give it another minute and wait for everybody to get back. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think everybody is back. All right, again, you can put your great ideas that you heard in the chats, or we'll talk about those now. Before we do that, I do want to go back to a question we had earlier. Someone asked about virtual programs, specifically, how are you limiting those? Are you doing tickets? Also, if you use tickets, when do you hand them out? What are your thoughts on that?
It wasn't for virtual, it's for the in-house programming for the
Okay.
summer.
Yeah, I was wondering. Okay. I think I might have read that wrong. Anyone who uses tickets, do you want to talk about how you do that? I can tell you when I did ticketed programs in the past, I just had them at the children's desk for them to pick up, and it was first come, first serve. They could not pick up a ticket for another family because that question that would happen.
That's how we did it. Yeah, it's exactly how we did it. We did them at the children's desk, but the program was in a separate area, so they had to pick the tickets up in person, not for anybody else. The children had to be there as well, and then they would line up with the tickets in the other area, first come, first serve. We never had any problems. They never, nobody was ever a problem. The patrons were all really good about it, and we kept it to I think it depended what type of program it was. We did a gingerbread house program and kept that at 20, but we did it several times. We did 3 different ones, so 60 people had a chance of doing it. But it went really well.
Okay. Any other questions about tickets? All right, what else do you want to share from your breakout rooms? I'm also curious if anyone is changing up how they're doing the whole program this summer. And if you want to share, if you are changing it up, I see people nodding no. It's like, yeah, this is not the summer to change things, probably. Maybe next year.
I can go for our group. We had talked about some different passive programming. One of the libraries in our group does a scavenger hunt where they print out small, like for February, they're going to do small hearts about this big. They hide them around the children's department, and then the kids come, they get a sheet that's got the different hearts on them, and they have to try and find them all. If they get a completed sheet, they turn it in. And then at the end of the month, they do a drawing for a prize for everybody that participated. So we're going to kind of try and do that same thing during the summer, where they do different sea animals or different like levels of the sea and things like that. We also talked about in my library, we have windows around our children's area that lead out to our courtyard. And so I was talking about painting those to look like a shark mouth. And so the kids can look like their head is sticking out of the shark's mouth, or like a mermaid tail, or different things like that, that they can, you know, interact with the paintings from either side of the glass, and then their parents can stand on the other side, kind of like the cardboard cutouts, but it's a little bit more fun, different than just like a cardboard stand up. It's a little bit harder for kids to knock over, things like that. And then we also talked about different still doing the make and takes and how popular they were at the libraries. Movies, different things. We also talked about the prizes, how we'd all do the prizes. At some libraries, they just do the end of the summer prizes. At some libraries, they do weekly prizes where they come in and they get in for a weekly prize drawing. We talked about how the drawings work, whether kids actually come and pick up the items that they won. And then some people do where they bring in their logs and they get a prize for however many books they've read. I know at Horry County, we've talked about changing from doing books to minutes or hours read instead. So I had kind of asked everybody what they were doing on that front, just to see some feedback on how much they have their kids reading over the summer.
Lots of great ideas. Thank you. I really like the window painting idea. I hadn't heard of that before. I love a good photo op.
Our group talked about making sure that we could do programs that can take place both inside and outside, obviously. One person in my group talked about doing obstacle courses and sidewalk challenges, painting the sidewalk in front of their space. We also talked about doing things that can be both an in-person program or a take and make. And then I talked a little bit about, we had to cancel our Percy Jackson program that was supposed to happen in February, but the whole theme of Percy Jackson being Poseidon's son, I think really ties into Ocean of Possibilities. So we're going to try to push that back to the summer. I always think fandom events are really popular.
Yeah, I agree. Any specific questions that you have from others? Morris asked if anyone is doing story walks. And you know, there's like the official story walk name, and you have to kind of use their information, and then some people kind of adapt and do their own thing, so they can be more flexible, I think.
You know what we've been doing here at our library, we don't have a place to really, we have a lot of parking lot, not a place to put a story walk. So what we've done through the school year, since I used to teach at the school district, I'm in touch, I have my foot in the door with most of the schools. And so I've talked to their reading coaches and things, and we've been taking, actually I've been taking our story walks on those big like yard sale sign things, taking them out to their school, and they'll put it in their courtyard or out in the back where the playground is, and the teachers get to take the kids out there to see them. I've got 3 right now that I'm taking one on Monday morning, and then another one to our Liberty Charter School. So that's been a big hit, but we did one at Christmas here at our library, And it went okay, but some people don't know what it's about. They don't understand what it is that you look at, it's just basically a book taken apart and plotted along so you can read. So this summer, we're going to try one. Our Westmont branch tried 2 during the summer last year, and it went well there. So we thought we'd do one here too that was actually theirs last summer, so we don't have to remake the wheel. So we're just going to kind of reuse it, but put it here instead.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like from the chat. And again, I'll send all this information out, but a lot of you are doing that, trying story walks. I love the idea of partnering with schools for that. I hadn't heard of that before for the story walk. We just have a couple minutes left, so we're going to do our craft competition. Those of you that made one, hold it up really quick so I can see if you made one. Okay, yay. All right, so I'm going to share my screen, and first there's a couple that people sent in pictures, so let me go to that. Is everybody seeing that, the agenda? Not if you can see. Okay, thank you. Let me move this. Okay, so oh, I want it. Oh, there we go. So we have a couple simple cute crafts that were sent in, and I already forgot who sent these in, so you can tell me in the chat. And because we don't have that many people participating, everybody that participated, maybe I should have saved this for the end, but everybody's going to get a prize for participating. So thank you for doing that. And you can go ahead and put your name and your library in the chat, and I'm going to mail you out something. So, and then I just put, before we look at what you brought, I just found a couple ideas online that I wanted to share. The one on the right, Kate is the youth services consultant from Tennessee. I thought that was cute, a cool display. And then I love the one on the right for babies. I think babies and toddlers, I think that's a really fun, easy idea. The one on the left, it was on the Facebook CSLP group, and they didn't have a, wasn't sure where it came from. Love the Little Mermaid dolls. They kind of remind me of the Worry dolls, if you've ever made that craft before. And again, I'll send out links to this, and I think these are the last two. Okay. So I'm going to stop that. And who would like to share what they made in the couple minutes that we have left?
I can go. So those little perler beads that melt together. Thought it was cute. Little crab, little fish bowl, oh, little whale.
Cute.
Little fish. Yeah. Something easy and simple.
Perler beads were I don't know if y'all do those anymore. That was my favorite craft when I was little. I think because I'm not a real crafty person and I could do that. So that's why I like that. All right, who else?
I have a shadow box, and you know how we get these cute boxes in the mail after books are being sent to us, and I tell them to give me everything that they have. And so what I did was I lined it with butterflies, because children love butterflies, and my VE always falls off, so I gotta get, it's down here, but I have I love you, and I put it out, and the kids, they look at it, and it's just something I do with scraps that we buy or that we get from the books that we buy. Yeah, nothing big, just something fun that utilizes trash.
I love that. Thank you, Sheila. Miss Literacy. And then Catherine, what do you have?
I have a jellyfish made out of a bowl and some crepe paper and tissue paper. I actually have I made it for a tutorial that I put out on our Facebook/website. So you can actually see how to make all of these on our Facebook/website. I just really like it. The little face is going, so I just like it.
That's cute. Thank you. All right. Anybody else?
I have one. And The idea was to remake this with a like ocean theme, but this is just a little bottle of water, and it's supposed to be like one of those like I can't remember what it's called, you know, mindfulness bottle, or it's got a name, and I can't remember what the name is, but this just has these little like fuzz balls in it, but you could definitely switch it out to either make it like just ocean colors, you know, glitter can go in these, but it's just water, and then you close it up, and you know, they're just good for like mindfulness. And I learned about that at a sensory programming thing that I went to, but that could definitely be connected to oceans and literacy. Sensory bottle, yeah, I mean, that's
There you go. That's it.
So making an ocean themed sensory bottle is my craft.
Love it. Thank you. And I see Krista has a cute little octopus.
It is. I have some teens that crochet with me. I don't know if you can see there.
Oh,
so we started a yarn therapy thing, and I put this together. It took a little bit of time, but it's a basic stitch. So I'm going to try to do this with teens this summer.
That's really cute. And then
parrots.
Would you? Oh wait, I didn't hear the first part.
I have Barbary pirates here at Anger. Of course, pirates are on the high sea. Pirates. I'm going to include those in this summer because, of course, pirates are on the high seas, and we're going to have a library treasure hunt this summer. And of course, the books are the booty, the pirates' booty.
I love it.
They're very easy. They're made out of paper.
Thank you. That's great. Julie has something.
I didn't have a bowl like for the other jellyfish. I was like, wait, what else can I use? Paper plate. So I cut a paper plate in half, and reminds me a little bit of the SpongeBob jellyfish. And these are actually cupcake liners that you just cut around and around and just stick them in there with tape. So, and a little ribbon to hang them with. So, and I actually got the idea of this from, it's called A Little Pinch of Perfect, their website. So
that's cute. Yeah. Thank you. I think that might be it. Anybody else have anything to share? All right. Thank y'all so much for doing that. I'm going to send out something to everybody that participated, since I threw that on you last minute. We are over time, so we have to end. Before we do that, again, thank you for sharing all of your ideas. Those of you that took notes, if you could email those to me. I'll just put my email in here again, so I can send out. I'm going to send out the recording, and then slides and notes and pictures and links and all of that. So, and then a couple more dates of things I just want to tell you about. Our next monthly chat is going to be, it's usually the third Wednesday of the month if you haven't joined us for that yet. And we just talk about whatever's on your mind. The next one's going to be February 23rd at 11. And then we have a new presentation February 25th, and both of these are going to be on the calendar later today. But we have Rachel Moore, I believe, from First Steps. So those of you that work with little ones, this would be great for you. And she's going to talk about all the wonderful resources that First Steps have, which, you know, a lot of us know about, and there's probably other things that you haven't heard of. They just, when I was looking at their website, they just really do so much. And when I was working at the public library, I always felt like I needed to know more about that so I could share those resources with parents. And so she's just going to do an overview, and that will be an hour-long presentation, 10 o'clock on February 25th. So hope you can join us there. Let us know. Let me know if you have any questions about any other summer reading stuff or anything at all. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Any questions before we go? Anything you want to put in the chat? Thank you so much again for being here, for sharing ideas. All right, well, y'all have a great weekend. I'll see you later. Bye.
Well, I got back just in time to end. I'm sorry I missed the craft thingy, but I had to go.
Oh, you just got back in?
Yes.
Often,
I sent you one an email, the jellyfish.
Oh, you did. I shared
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And I'm
Okay,
going to
all right.
send prizes to everybody who participated.
Okay, I just walked back in. Okay, all right.
Thank you for that. We'll see you
Bye.
later.
Bye-bye.